time, a boy so fine, wanted to be the next Bob Dylan of his time, didn't you? Oh, beware, they said, Matt, you look like Dylan, but you know, Matt, we are just kidding you. I used to be so amused. He got so famous, and a guitar is all he used. But now I don't act so proud. Now I don't sing so loud about trying to be someone that ain't me. And how does it feel with no image of your own in the nasal tone, like a Dylan clone? How does it feel? All right, guys. Look, it is great to be back on another Tuesday getting purple. So let's get purple. I have decided to try and bring a purple drink each week. I hope you do too. This is pomegranate juice and a little bit of agua bucha, which is sparkling water mixed with kombucha, and then a little something else, but that's a secret. That's really good. Now, I started off with this song for one reason, okay? We got a couple things going on today. One is, I want to tell you a little bit about why I make the Purple Party and why I'm doing this, okay? And I also have a special guest, Mr. Matt Wetzel, who plays Frank on the show, is going to talk a little bit, and we're going to talk about mental illness, hopefully in a fun way to some degree, but in a real way. It was the topic of the last show. Now, before I jump into another song, I'm going to make sure I get on because I want to see your comments. I want you to know, oh, come on now. That's old Marty, that, get down. I want to see your comments, and I want to interact as much as is possible here. So I'm going to get on right now so I can see, and I'm going to put on a comment on YouTube so you know that I'm there. I might not be able to moderate on Facebook, but on YouTube it's Steady Matt Music, and I'm right there taking a look. And let's jump into the story here. We'll talk with Matt in a minute. Now, the number one question that I get asked all the time is why? Why do you make the Purple Party? Everyone's like, why don't you just record Florida Man and record Sweet Florida Heat and just, you know, do the fun beach stuff and become like another, you know, Jimmy Buffett kind of guy or something like that? And that does sound kind of good, actually. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that if that opportunity was there. But that's not why I got into making music. I've always been a little bit of an idealist, and maybe that's something you don't really know about. I always was one of those annoying people who thought music should make a difference, and it should change the world. And I know lots of people these days are like, God damn it, will you just not do that? Will you just play your music and just be an entertainer? And please not tell me what you think, and please not inject everything with your personal philosophy. And I can really understand that, but that's not the reason that I got into music. And when I was young, I had a little harmonica thing, and I wanted to be Bob Dylan so bad. I used to write lots of protest tunes. I guess I wouldn't say protest songs, just social commentary. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where you're on the road and you're driving, and then everybody's rubbernecking and sort of looking at the other side. Well, that happened once when I was a little boy, and I wrote this song called Divided Highway. One time in a car, we were traveling one fine day, doing felt so good. The blurry blend of trees, creating our own breeze until we stop to a crawl. We were late for our destination, and that doesn't help the traveling mood at all. I said, Mom, I gotta take a whiz. She said, Matt, that's the way it is. Dad said, construction without a smile, I think it goes on for a while. It did. The presumption of construction, we all changed into a bloody accident. That fine day, they are bad, Dad said, when you do 80 miles an hour all the way. And as time slowed, Mom said, I hope they are all right. My brother sighed. I admitted that was trite. I said, is the accident in sight? Dad said, I don't know, there's not enough light. Mom said, rubbernecking ain't polite. Kids, I think your mother is quite right. I agreed. If I was on the pavement, I wouldn't want some stranger watching me bleed. With whispering eyes, staring, snapping pictures, Dad said, my God, the wreck is on the other side. There was no need to stop our lane. Eyes with necks just crawled the crane. And as it sunk into my brain, my stomach saw an eerie hollow pain. But now I know how we fight a war without knowing what we're fighting for, and how violence pays the dues, and why bad news is the only news that makes news. Well, I can see so far that the only excitement here is that my mom cannot figure out how to watch this on the TV, which is not the most exciting thing. Yes. Watch out, don't open the door very much.
I like that song.
Oh, I'm glad that you like that
When
song.
we're going to change the world and had ideals.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was...
Take a question from the living room?
Yeah, sure.
A question, I'd like to know what's the weirdest instrument you've ever played?
The weirdest instrument I've ever played? I don't know. The weirdest instrument, I mean, the didgeridoo was one thing, and then there was, which I've got, but that's not that strange. And then there's a little bit of a harp, kind of like a jaw harp that you play in Vietnam, where you clamp down your teeth and then you go boing da 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 boing.
Stay with the guitar.
Yeah, no, boing da boing da boing da boing, but and it's kind of fun, but like you have to be like really intoxicated for that to be interesting for longer than a few minutes, so it's not that great. Anyway, hey Mom, did you figure out how to watch it? Huh?
I'm watching it on my phone.
Okay, well we'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. All right. So anyway, and hey Sarah, I saw my good friend Sarah is watching. It's wonderful to see. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to tell any stories because that's too personal. But Sarah, I'll tell you what, she kind of like my mom and like a lot of people in my life. If it wasn't for Sarah, you might not be listening to me or seeing me doing anything now. I'm in quite good shape and in good times, but when the going got tough, boy, I had to figure out who my friends were, and Sarah was a true friend and still is, and it's wonderful to see her. I'll tell you what, it's a little bit slow on the oh wait, no, I didn't. Oh, I don't have my I was gonna do one thing I needed, I didn't have. So Sarah's probably watching this because see, here's the thing, okay, is that was me. I know that nobody wants to hear a song about something like that right now. My mom does, but that's about it. The social commentary isn't really popular. So I didn't really do that most of my life, okay? Like when I went to do, there were different stages of my life where I did different things. Once I went off from being an idealistic college student, I just sort of got into partying and having a good time. Like Sarah's probably watching going like, wait, Matt, singing songs about, the divided highway and what's going on with the violence war. Because, when I was there, my social commentary, I think this was my social commentary back in those days. This is a song I'm going to send out to Sarah, actually, since she's watching it and being part of the purple thing here for a minute. This is a funny song, actually, that has an interesting story. Maybe after this we'll get Matt on the phone, but this is one of the most un-PC songs I ever wrote. After saying I wanted to solve the world's problems, I was a vegetarian, and I didn't want to use paper towels, and I was gonna do everything right, and I was gonna stop all the wars and feed all the hungry children and all that kind of stuff you want to do when you're, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But then you get older, and you're a musician, you start getting a little action, you start realizing, man, people just want to have fun, they want to have a good time, so you start thinking about, I'm just gonna write songs that are gonna make people laugh and have a good time. So I'm gonna start this one. This was one of my big hits when I was in West Virginia, my days back with Sarah and the gang. It's called Country Cookin'. Well, I came to West Virginia from the land of California, where them West Coast health food junkies said, now Matt, we gotta warn you, there'll be biscuits, beans, and gravy. Steak and eggs make a man lazy. But I've been here just a month, and country cooking drives me crazy. So there's no more tofu for me. I said no more chopping, no broccoli. Now, an interesting side note, this is me basically giving up on being a morally perfect person. I was starting to eat chicken wings and drink bourbon and, sleep around and do all the kind of things that are fun that really you probably shouldn't be doing. But just to prove my point, you see, there were little bits of that political Matt, because that song, Country Cookin', no more chopping, no broccoli. If you remember, I believe it was George Bush that said he didn't like broccoli. There was somebody, I was senior, junior, the guy who got embarrassed with Trump, I don't know. There was a bunch of them. But one of them said something negative about broccoli. And see, that was the sort of double meaning. So even when I was going off the rails and becoming a wild rock star, there was still a little thing in Matt that wanted to say something. They wanted to make a difference. Well, orange juice is not breakfast, salad is not dinner, and I know them beef and dumplings ain't gonna make a man no thinner, but they fill me, make me happy, keep me warm and satisfied. I don't have to bake my chicken, 'cause I like it fried, and there is no more tofu for me, and there's no more chopping, no broccoli. Veggies, all them green beans and potatoes, just a bit of garden lettuce for my vine-ripe sweet tomatoes. But no, that ain't gonna do me. Give me more, see I gots to have it. No, I do not hop around. I'm a man, not a rabbit. So there's no more tofu for me. I said no more chopping, no broccoli. Now, I'm thinking about this. I'm so glad Sarah came back, because this is a cool place to go in this improv here. I'm thinking back to West Virginia about 15, 20 years back, whenever it was. And I was realizing that I really was then you know, maybe in an underground sense, you know, on the other side of the fence than most people were. The Empty Glass was this little joint down in the east end of Charleston, and it was kind of like, for lack of a better word, it had kind of a liberal feel. It was mixed. There, everybody was really into, you know, diversity and sort of that type of vibe, and they certainly seemed to rally around a certain political viewpoint. Now, I don't know how it is now. A lot of times passed, a lot of things have changed, but that's, I guess, what I'm getting at with the purple thing. Is it like back in those days, you could have a different opinion and you could state that opinion, and it didn't really cause the type of upheaval that it does right now. And that's what I want to try to work towards, really, is a world where what we believe and what we think doesn't supersede, you know, our desire to be human to each other. Now, on that note, I'm gonna play the last verse of Country Cookin', and this song got me into an awful lot of trouble because it is not politically correct, and it can hurt people's feelings. I was actually down here in Florida a number of years later. I remember I got my first gig, my very, very, very first gig, and it was at a bar called the Martini Bar. It's not called that anymore. It was down in Dunedin. It was a cool little joint, and they gave me a gig, and I went in there, and I had like 3 songs. I think I knew how to play All Along the Watchtower and Take It to the Limit by Eagles. I must have played Take It to the Limit by the Eagles like 6 times. And anyway, this was one of the only songs I had, and I thought it would make people laugh, but little did I know there were a couple really sensitive vegetarians that worked and were involved with this bar. So I'm up there singing and no tofu, no everything, while the bartender and everyone else is a really strict vegetarian. And the last verse, I think, was the reason that I was sent packing. Steak don't go with sprouts. A grown man should not eat seeds. If you want to build some muscle, well then stop just eating weeds. Go grab a girl out from the country, treat her right, say she's good looking. Grab, come on home to Country Cooking, 'cause there's no more tofu for me. I said no more chopping, no broccoli. All right. Oh, look what we got. Oh, that's where we go. I got a woo. That's what I'm saying. Guys, it is great to be here. I'm having a good time. Now, that's the thing. We're gonna get Matt. I want to get Matt on the phone. Hey, Matt, I know you're watching, man. Why don't you give me a call, and we're gonna switch things. I'm gonna get back to what, you know, but the idea with the purple thing is, like, what I'm trying to explain is that I always wanted to do these things, and really, I always wanted to entertain people, but I always wanted my music to make a difference. And boy, is that a hard thing these days. You know, it really seems hard to say anything. And when I started to make the Purple Party, you know, I realized what a storm I had stepped into, and I had really thought that it would be okay to just talk about things, but it clearly really isn't in a lot of ways. And so I'm still sticking with this idea, because I really think it's important. It's not popular, you know, the idea of everyone getting along and sort of being willing to live with other people's opinion being different than their own is not a very popular thing. But I think it's also really important, and I think it's the right thing. So I'm actually going to go all in on this, and I am going to, you know, work as hard as I can on the Purple Party, and I'm going to try to organize. I'm going to be here every Tuesday with you guys, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to try and bring people together and to make them realize that it's not, you know, what you believe. It's more about just having respect for what other people believe, or maybe trying to understand what other people believe. But so I'm hoping my buddy Matt is he's gonna call me here hopefully in a second. If not, it's no big deal. And I will keep making some some songs and whatnot, but I wanted to talk to him briefly for a little while, but we will but what I can do is this is one I was thinking of the songs when I was an idealist, you know. I don't know if you remember Woodstock '94. It was a kind of crazy event. The '60s were all about kind of reinventing the past decades. It's something we still do, like retro and vintage and all that. That was what was going on when I was going through some things in the '90s. And wait, here we go. Let's see if I got. Hey, what's up, buddy? Did you try on the Duo thing and it didn't work?
Yeah, I tried on Duo and you didn't answer.
Oh, I didn't? Oh my gosh. Well, let's do. You want to try one more time while I'm right here, or do you want to just do it this way?
Oh, it don't matter. We'll try the Duo.
I mean, this one, yeah. I mean, it sounds pretty good. It doesn't sound too bad. You know, we're trying. Well, I'm gonna try this. Let's see. We'll get it on here. I mean, the quality's pretty good. If it doesn't drop, maybe we should just go with this.
Yeah, this will work.
Yeah, so guys, what I'm trying as hard as I can to come up with ways to make it more interactive. I know it's hard to comment and to come in real time, so I'm trying to bring people in so we can get more voices than my own. So I have here with me Matt Wetzel. He is a great friend of mine. We met actually on the Steady Matt show. We actually met down on the beach. He came down to the beach and saw me. What happened, Matt? You remember better than I do. What happened?
Over 2 years ago now. I was down there on my honeymoon, and you were playing at the Coco.
That's right. And yeah, and so which is a common thing. I meet a lot of people that are from other places on the beach, and then we make a connection. So then whole world changes, and all of a sudden we're all in our bunkers, and you know I'm live streaming, and all of a sudden Matt just becomes like my number, maybe not number one, if not number one, number two. I mean, he's in the top fans. He's always there, always commenting, always wanting to making it lively, and we became quite close, you know, through that experience. And then what happened is I tried to make the Purple Party, which we should talk about for a second. And I actually would like to ask you a couple questions about this, Matt. So we'll get to mental health, but so I start the Purple Party, and it's a big risk. I actually came up with the idea while I'm not gonna lie, I was quite intoxicated, and I was trying to sort of catch a buzz and kind of brainstorm, you know. And so I was trying to think about what I could do, where I'd go with the Steady Matt show, how I could talk about now, because my life's kind of boring. All I do is just go to I play music on the beach, I ride my bike. It's not like the Steady Matt show anymore. It's not like that. And I didn't know how to make my current life, and then I realized, well, wait, man, I'm in the middle of Florida where there's a diverse crowd, and there's something in that. I said, what about tackling the political thing? And we got into the Purple Party. And then I remember, I made this choice of trying to play a conservative player. Like I was trying to be the purple guy in the middle. And then because I didn't have a lot of other people, I tried to play myself, a conservative person, which was kind of horrific. I think I removed those videos pretty quickly afterwards. They were done. But how did you feel, Matt, when you saw that? To be honest, man, be honest. I don't think you mind me saying Matt's conservative, right? And he plays a conservative character on the show, so he offers that voice and which is very important. There is no purple without red. You know what I mean? So he's offering that voice, and I'm interested in what you thought when you saw me, this kooky, long-haired guy, like trying to play a Trump guy. What did you think?
I thought it was funnier than a bag of pig shit.
For real though? I thought you weren't offended. Now that's interesting though, because
I thought it was funny, just the way you were trying. I'm like, yeah, whatever he's trying to do here, it's not working.
Yeah, so I had it wasn't really working because I was coming face to face with all I could do is just blab on about being Matt, kind of like now. That's why I'm trying to get Matt into this. I don't want it to be all about me. And then I realized, and then over time, long story short, Matt was willing, because the show doesn't really work without. The show's about how does somebody maybe who's conservative and somebody who's liberal and somebody who's in between, how do we all get along, and how do we deal with the fact that we maybe have different ideas? And that was the idea of the show, and it really needed somebody to play that role. And so Matt was incredibly brave to play that, I think, without knowing exactly what I was gonna do or where I was going with that. And you've done a great job, buddy. I really appreciate it.
It's cool because when you first asked me, I'm like, yeah, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. We'll see where this goes. I wasn't really expecting much because originally when you asked me, it's just like, oh, you'll have like a couple little lines here. We're gonna do like a quick episode just to test it out. I'm like, all right, forget it. We'll just give it a shot. And then from there, I think we did another episode, and we're like, okay, this is kind of working. We'll see where this goes. From the early episodes to where we are now, I just can't believe how much we've expanded, character-wise, video-wise, and just showing like different personalities and just showing the whole Purple theme.
Yeah, the idea.
That's the beauty of it too, because like the Purple Party, everybody knows it's about respect. Just because I don't like what you have to say and you don't like what I have to say, well, does that mean we have to hate each other? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I mean, the idea, that's the one thing that I think is really important for people to do, because I think what happens, too, is people shy away from the purple idea because they're like, oh, God, here we go with politics. And that's a very understandable reaction. I mean, because, that's why I've worked hard, what my idea with the show and it's evolving as I go along, but is that, how we relate to each other as human beings is more important than government policy and opinions about things like that. But again, I haven't myself really resolved exactly how, when it comes down to it, when people have different opinions and there's a lot at stake, it's still not something I totally understand. Like, here's how I wave my wand and it's all better. I just want to try, and it doesn't, I mean, it seems like people sort of, like, a lot of people aren't really willing to wade into that space, and that's why I'm really grateful that you've been willing to try and do it, and we're still evolving that too. Like right now, we're working on the next episode, and we're trying to figure out how to introduce. How to
learning very quickly that it takes a solid month to put together an episode.
Oh yeah.
So people understand the work that Matt, you put in the majority of the work. You do all the editing and video and all the movie magic. But just to like do the basic shooting that we do, sometimes it takes hours of footage, just to get the right shots.
Yeah, no, it takes. I mean, but that's the thing. One of the things, Matt, though, that I've learned as a performer, when I do it, is that, as true as that is, people don't. One of the things that's hard to realize when you're doing things is that nobody really thinks about that, which is hard. Like sometimes when I'm playing on the beach, I feel like, I wish, do people understand what goes into putting together something like this? But the answer a lot of the time is no. A lot of the time, really, people just want, they just really are judging. That's why with this show, too, I've had to realize, like, I'm never going to be Hollywood. So I'm trying to come up with, like, sort of a more... an aesthetic or something that sort of works, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to deal with, and I'm trying to deal with issues that are, that we all care about. Like we were going to talk about mental health, and that was what we dealt with in the last one. I tried to make it fun by making the Purple Bandit who went around and sort of personified my negative thoughts. But we said Frank's character, but Matt, you really are considering, going into counseling as a field, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of the Purple Party is, it's a fictional show per se, but it still deals with real life events and real things that people like might take my character Frank. We did an episode about the wife left me. Well, actually last year my wife did leave me and I'm going through a divorce now. So it's cool that I can play a character and still deal with like real things that I'm going through in life.
Yeah,
mental health is something that's very, very big to me. Was I always compassion about mental health? No.